سلامي سلامي لقوم كرام.
Chief Imam, I'm wondering what you think about your faith and what kind of peace God brings in Islam and to the Muslim people, and how you live that out. Is that similar or quite different?
Thank you very much first for arranging this interfaith dialogue and giving us the opportunity to meet our friends, our new generations, and our friends from the Judaism and Christianity. I mean peace is recognition. And radical peace, if the radical meaning, the basic, then indeed the peace means recognition of other. So my religion has taught me I have to recognize what my friend is carrying or claiming that he has the text from God. So my religion has taught me I have to believe in the text what the Christianity believes that they have from God. So the recognition is the first step to live with peace and to act with the peace. So Islam says the diversity of differences is the beauty of the world, and it is the God wisdom that He has created things in a different shapes, forms, and colors. So the differences of the religion is also God's. What I learned from the Holy Book Quran, Kana nas ummatan wahida, and the people were all one. So the first thing, peace is necessity and necessary in a way that Quran has told us that all human beings are from single pair. And then they have been divided into different tribes, nations, ethnic, and colors just for the introduction. So originally, we have one origin. We all have one origin. So when you feel and believe that you have one origin, then you can come together, you can sit together, you can listen each other. So this is the basics. So recognition of each other, this is the first step of peace. And then when we read the Quran, and I believe both of my friends, they will testify that most of the things we have common. Believing in God, believing in prophets, believing in the day of judgment. So if we look in the common grounds, then we can sit together and we can come on the common ground and sit together and understand each other. So indeed there are differences. If there are no differences, or if someone wants that there should be no differences, it is impossible. But we have to recognize each other and we have to accept each other with the differences. And Islam as religion has taught us, and I can give you many examples, like Prophet Muhammad, and he was persecuted when he was in initial stage of his preaching. He was in Mecca. He migrated from Mecca to Medina. In Medina, he found the diversity in culture, in religion, and in ethnic background. So he gathered all backgrounds and all different people, including Jew, Christian, and other people of faith. And he said that we are the citizen of one city. So citizenship concept we got from the life of Prophet Muhammad. And he gave an example that we can live together, we can sit together, and we can protect each other. So this was the step towards the peace. If we create the walls or barriers for each other, then we cannot achieve the peace.
So a religion of recognition of differences, and hopefully a vision of being able to live in harmony with those differences.
Yes,
is what you're saying.
And although the Quran has criticized the faith of other people. But when you criticize, it means you are finding some common ground and you want to discuss, or you want to bring someone close to you, or you want to go to close with others. So that is why you criticize. If you have no concern with other, why you will criticize? Then you have no concern. So the criticism itself and the naming, like the Jew and the Christian, Quran has given the name people of book. So it means they are on some ground, some text, they are believing the prophets. So we have to respect the belief and faith, and we have to respect and believe in the text that both are carrying. So there's also indication of recognition and towards understanding each other.
Yes, thank you very much. So, Chief Imam, ISIS,
Yeah.
ISIS, I mean, radical evil, can you make peace?
Evil is evil. Indeed, this is not acceptable, even at a small scale or big scale. But I would like to say the personal or individual forgiveness, indeed it has an importance. But as a nation, if you forgive, it has a good result. When we see the history, because if there are two parties and each one of each party, they have their own program and they have their own way that they are taking the revenge or they are doing the justice, the other saying the same. So one party will say that we want to establish the peace. For establishing the peace, we will eliminate the evils and kill the people or whatsoever. And the same, the other side. So if one party hands up or and say that we are not going to take any revenge of our own people, then it created peace in the history. There are many examples, and even we don't have a good history like in the crusade in the past 11th century, when one of the party announced there will be no revenge, there will be no killing, now the matter is finished. After that, we see there is a peace and there is no war. So at least one party should come forward and take the bold decision. And we see in our Prophet Muhammad's history that as he is taking the city, Makkah, from where he was forced to leave, and then he announced, La tasriba alaykumul yawm, there is no revenge and no killing. So after that, it was the peace. So historically, it is proven if a group or a nation adopts the way of forgiveness, then it is always the good. And you can give in Nelson Mandela what he did. And so other examples in the past. So if you take the step of forgiveness, but first you have to take the position of controlling. If you have control, then you forgiveness. If without taking the control, like if today Iraqi says that we forgive ISIS, so it is a foolish act. But controlling the area and the people, then the step, this forgiveness, the step of forgiveness can be taken. Indeed, the main culprits could be brought to the justice.
Right.
But for the public, it should not be on the mass level, the killing or revenge. Otherwise, there will be no end of the war.
Right. So forgiveness is always possible.
Yes.
Yes. So in this discussion so far, I think we've agreed that sort of reason is not the answer to solving the problem of peace. And that sort of raises the question whether peace is ultimately from God. In other words, is peace, do you need God to make peace? Is peace more than something that is just human?
Peace indeed is from God. And when we study the Holy Book Quran, And what we found, the characteristic or the qualities or the attributes of God, most of them indicating mercy, peace, loving, helping. So these are the characteristics. And the other side, God has said that we have to take the characteristic of God within ourselves. تَخَلَّقُوا بِأَخْلَاقِ اللَّهِ. And as God is forgiving and God is merciful, so we have to take the same quality to implement within the human being. So it is necessary to adopt the qualities that God appreciates. And when we see the Holy Book Quran, there are many verses. God says, "Inna Allah yuhibbu at-tawwabin, Inna Allah yuhibbu al-mutatahhirin." I translate that God loves those who act with the patience. God loves those who are acting with the justice. God loves those who are forgiving. God acts those who are purifying themselves. So religion itself, what if you study thoroughly, and all the religion, they have the lesson of peace and love for others. And there is the philosophy, if any concept which has the concept of the violence or hate, it does not exist for a long time. So if you see the history of the violent people or the group, they have a short history, maybe in few years or maybe maximum 100 years, but religion, what today we have. So those who have long history, it means they have a good message. That is why it is in practice for a long time. So religion does not create the problem. It is the problem of those who use religion as an instrument for their own political wish or political agenda or some other agenda. So they are using the religion as instrument or as a tool. But religion itself, the teaching of the religion is loving human being and loving all the people, even those who are not following your path, your way. So the man, if bad man or bad person, indeed he is a bad, but you should hate his habit or his quality of the bad and evil, not the person. Bad person could be good if he change his mind and his path. So he could be the good. So religion teaches us we have to communicate and we have to have a link with all the people, with even with your enemy, so that your goodness will transfer to others and will attract others to adopt your way. So this is the message of religion.
Has been raised, I think it's quite an important question, but it's more about Hong Kong. And it goes something like this. I know that Hong Kong is nowhere near like Baghdad. I mean, the closest we get to a war zone.
It's got its problem.
Yes, Mongkok is our problem, but it's not really, Baghdad. But Hong Kong, definitely in the last few years, seems to be moving towards greater social tension, division, and surprisingly, quite a lot of violence. So fear and division seems to be taking place between rich and poor, the haves, the have-nots, between those in power and those that seem not to be in power, the rich and the young, and the young and the old, and so on. So peace doesn't seem to characterize our society, and reconciliation doesn't seem to be practiced as a leadership skill, let's put it that way. So do you, from your religious perspective or from your religious wisdom, have any advice? How would we begin to bring about reconciliation in Hong Kong? And you've done a lot of peace work. I mean, where do we start here? Because nobody really wants to begin, as far as I can see.
Yes, actually, we cannot compare the Hong Kong problem with the problem of Middle East and the other parts of the world. Even today, if you would have noticed, about 100 Muslims were killed in different parts of the world, in some bombing. So Hong Kong people, what you are saying, indeed, there are a lot of common ground, and the main is love for Hong Kong. So both who are opponent, they love Hong Kong, and those who are occupying, they love Hong Kong. So my suggestion is, if one way, if I have some demand, or I want something to be practiced here, and if it is in one way, if it is not accepted or it is not completed, so I should take another path. I should take another way. So the discussion and talk and table talk, this is the best solution, or different strategy could be adopted to achieve the goal. So the purpose should be achieving the goal. If this way is not successful for last 1 or 2 years, so another strategy could be adopted, and at the same time the reaction should not be so hard. And so far here is no such situation. There is no violence, peaceful way from both sides. So this is the good sign, but I would suggest the different strategies could be adopted to achieve the goal.
Is there any scenario where killing ought to be allowed in the pursuit of peace?
Killing,
Your answer. Okay.
Killing to whom?
Well, just killing. I think that it would be killing for the purpose of peace.
You can say you can remove the obstruction of the peace. So in this way, if someone is really cause of mischief or cause of the killing of other innocent people, so you can take action.
To kill.
Means if you have no other option except killing, so it could be taken. It depends. It is not an individual act. It depends on the state, how it deals, and how it, because it is not an individual act that I think something is going on bad, so I take the rifle or bomb and I take. No, it is not my job. It is not the job of an individual. It is a state responsibility to maintain and to have the peace and to give the peace to the society. So in the case, if the state consider that without killing, it is not achievable, so they could take.
Another question that may not have a clear answer, but it's really about the question of justice, I guess. Now, do you believe that there will be a judgment day, and any peace that precedes it is a kind of false peace? In other words, really God will bring about justice in the end. Everything we do now, it's kind of, or the kind of peace that we can bring, it's not really the true thing.
Actually, justice and peace are dependable. Dependable on each other.
Dependent on each other.
Justice could not be without peace, and peace could not be achieved without justice.
No, but he's talking about the end days.
So no, but
you and I aren't around.
We should not live for everything for Messiah. We should not live everything for the day of judgment. So we have been given mind, we have been given power, we have been given capabilities. So we have to use it to bring the peace and justice. This word, whatever the capacity we have, whatever we can do, we have to do. Instead of waiting for someone that he will come and he will bring the justice, or we will go to the day of judgment and we will receive the justice. So what the God has given us, we have to utilize, we have to contribute to bring the, that is an ideal situation that the Holy Text tells us about the peace at the last time and the peace in hereafter. So, but the ideal situation is in front of us. We have to take the steps to go to achieve to that peace within ourselves, within the community, within the country, and whatever we can give to others, we have to give. So this is the religion teaching. Otherwise, everybody will sit and he will wait for the future. It is not good.
But about how can we help in this situation, particularly we're so remote in Hong Kong, or how can the international community really help to bring about the kind of radical peace of the love, love, love that we've been talking about this evening? What can we do?
And historically, in this area, I have observed church, synagogue, and mosque are existing side by side together. And the community of different faith, they are living side by side for centuries together. If you leave recent years, so the whole area of Muslim rule or Islamic rule, so they were living with peaceful coexistence and loving each other. So this is the history.